What is up, awesome people of the internet? Guys, wow, what a day. What a day. Women's college basketball is back, and we got some upsets that happened yesterday. We got some debuts. We got some reminders to put some respect on certain people's names, and it's just the beginning. Because women's college basketball day one has concluded, and we have months and months and months more of fantastic play and just fun. So I'm asking y'all to buckle up, get ready, because women's college basketball is here. Quit in the Morning starts now.
Are you ready?
Are you ready?
Are you ready? Ready, set, go.
How great is it? The 2025-2026 basketball season is underway.
A brand new season of college hoops, and we are underway from Paris.
First all-time meeting between the Gamecocks and Grand Canyon.
Pretty common in the women's game to have a season opener that's during the school day, so a lot of youngsters.
Oxford, Mississippi, we are ready to tip off a new season of women's college basketball.
In the lane. Swing over to Hawkins. That's Ledger Walker for three.
Fiso to Mevius as the buzzer sounds.
Right lobs it to Hayden. And another good look from Ava Hayden.
In the early goings here for the Greyhounds. Okonowo, why not? It's good again.
Layden Zay hesitates now, fires and swishes it. Madison Layden Zay.
Good switch from Howell. Oh, weak side.
Green. Off the dribble penetration with the left hand lays it in. Now Williams from the top of the key. Williams tries, lifts it in with the left hand, and got the foul.
McDaniel coming around. McDaniel to the basket. McDaniel scores!
Hellish dribble drive. Here's Ravine in the corner
Way
for three, and it's
to
good.
share the ball.
Her near side. That one's too strong. Another offensive rebound, and now Vandy finishes and one.
Screen. Down to 4. Here's a long three. It goes in.
Yes. Those were some of the scenes from yesterday. Fun fact, guys, did you know that there was 147 games that happened yesterday? 147 women's basketball games tipped off yesterday. It's a lot of games, right? A lot of games. And this was 147 Division I women's basketball games featuring Division I teams. There would have been 148, but we did see the Westcliff versus Utah Tech game end up getting canceled. And with those 147 games that we actually saw yesterday, we saw it all. From Texas putting up 123 in a blowout against Incarnate Word. We saw Duke getting got in a stunner against Baylor. We saw Idaho pull off a fantastic win against Washington State, a thing that most people didn't think was going to happen. And we saw UCLA basically get accused of stealing a game.
First and foremost, I want to thank Sioux Falls for taking this game on really short notice. I got a call on September 3rd from San Diego State, who were contracted to play, and that game was bought out by UCLA. They paid them a ridiculous amount of money to buy out our contract. So, again, thank you for Sioux Falls for stepping in late notice, literally on September 3rd and playing the game.
So you heard that right. This was the post-game presser after Utah's game against a D2, really good school, but still D2, Sioux Falls. So Utah did win that game, ultimately 88-62. But after the game, Utah head coach Gavin Peterson, he in the press conference, he wanted to make sure that it was publicly known that Sioux Falls took this game late. And he wanted to thank them for that. And here's the thing. The reason why UCLA was mentioned is because Utah was originally supposed to play San Diego State. They were originally scheduled to have their home opener against San Diego State. However, San Diego State ended up pulling out of the game, allegedly, after UCLA paid them a whole lot of money to renege on the contract. Fun fact, guys, we did end up seeing a response from UCLA head coach Corey Close because Talia Goodman ended up putting that clip out there, and Corey Close replied saying not factual. So make of that whatever you will. Maybe she's saying it's not factual that that UCLA bought out the contract. Maybe she's saying it's not factual that it was a large amount of money that San Diego State was paid. We don't know. But according to Corey Close, something in there in that statement that Utah head coach Gavin Peterson said, somewhere in there, supposedly, something is not factual. Either way, I just thought it was fun because here's the thing. A lot of these bigger players, a lot of these bigger teams, they pay these smaller teams a good amount of money to play them, right? That's a thing that happens, right? That's why in a lot of cases you see these big giant schools playing like a Texas playing like a Incarnate Word. You know, that's why you see, especially at the start of a season, you see crazy blowouts. Blowouts where the opposing team is scoring like 5 points, 9 points in quarters. Games that are decided by 50 plus because larger teams pay the smaller teams to compete against them. Now, the accusation of a team buying out a contract and paying an exorbitant amount of money to play a school, I wouldn't say I'm not surprised by that, to be honest with you. According to Corey Close, something in that statement is not factual, but I wouldn't be surprised if it is true. I wouldn't be surprised. So I just wanted to share that. I thought it was kind of funny. I thought it was kind of funny. And so I just wanted to mention it. That's all. But if y'all could let me know what y'all, did y'all like the that sort of intro montage? I would have made it way longer. However, it took me forever. Because first, the problem was when I was watching these games yesterday, I wasn't recording. And so I had to go back this morning and cut all these smaller clips out and then make it so that hopefully I don't get copyrighted on those. But what y'all think about that montage? Let me know. Okay. Anyway, let's actually get into the actual game recaps. All right. And we start off with the I was going to call them the defending champs. They're not the defending champs anymore. UConn is the defending champs. Anyway, let's talk about South Carolina. Because South Carolina did start off their season yesterday. And I mean, it's kind of what we expected. Here's the thing. South Carolina did end up playing Grand Canyon, and they played Grand Canyon because it's one of those games that they're playing against the weaker teams. The weaker teams get a bit of a payday, and South Carolina just gets to field a tougher practice of sorts. Now, this one was even more special because the new Grand Canyon head coach is Winston Gandy, and this is one of those things where sometimes if a assistant coach ends up leaving our program, you might see them play, might see the new team that they are coaching for play their previous team. It's just a fun thing. Here's the thing. I really enjoyed the way Don Staley mean, this is what she does all the time, so it's not like a super special thing, but it was caught on camera, and so I wanted to like talk about it. We ended up seeing a video of her literally shaking every single player's hand on Grand Canyon, and then really bigging up her previous assistant coach, now head coach Winston Gandy. It was kind of cool to see that. There was a moment during the game where Winston was trying to talk to one of his players, and then Raven Johnson was kind of like huddling over there trying to hear what he's saying. Anyway, this was a game that was an easy kind of blowout. It wasn't very tough. The best player on GCU is Chloe Mann. She is a Mr. President. Man, I tell you, this dog, he always is trying to find a way to bark about something. Anyway, Chloe Mann is the best player on GCU. She is a transfer from, I believe, Cincinnati. And she was trying her best yesterday. Did lead the squad with her. She led the starters, I should say, with 15 points. We saw Elijah Douglas ended up coming off the bench with 16. But really, the game was easily won by South Carolina. The final score was 94-54. We saw everybody kind of get in the rhythm of things. We saw Taniyah Latson get her first 20-point bucket for South Carolina. Remember, guys, she led women's college basketball last season in terms of points per game, and of course, she's going to be getting a whole bunch of points, especially in these non-conference games. I really want to see what she can do during regular SEC play. I really want to see what she can do there. We end up also seeing Tessa Johnson do her thing as well. For the starting lineup for South Carolina, if you don't know, the starting lineup was we ended up seeing Raven Johnson, Taniyah Latson, Tessa Johnson, Medina, and Joyce in the starting lineup, and they all did really well. Easy peasy game for South Carolina. Not much to really write home about, but got to talk about it anyway. Anyway, so final score, South Carolina by a mile. All right. And going to UCLA. I probably should have just talked about the UCLA game when I was talking about them earlier. But anyway, we ended up seeing UCLA take down San Diego State. Final score 77-53. In this game, we saw Lauren Betts kind of do her thing, ended up having 21 points. I love the fact that Charlize Legger-Walker is back. She's back in the starting lineup, and she did end up with 12 points. Random thing to note, we did see Kiki Rice come off the bench yesterday, which to me was a bit of a surprise. But, it is what it is. We saw, for the starting lineup for UCLA, we saw Duke Leach, Lauren Betts, Charlize Legger-Walker, Gianna Neepkins, and Gabriella Hawkes get the starting nod. And Kiki Rice did come off the bench and add in 10 points, 5 assists for her squad. I'm curious to see what that means going forward. I'm very, very, very interested to see. Ken K says Grand Canyon was 30-5 last season. Yes, they were. Grand Canyon was really, really good, but their head coach, Molly Miller, right? If I'm remembering right, she is gone. She has left the program, and Winston Gandy has taken her place. Okay. Okay. Molly Miller is now at Arizona State, which we will talk about in just a sec. All right. Grand Canyon was very, very good last year. And they lost some players, lost their head coach. They got to figure out their new identity, okay? Lost a bunch of people, actually. Anyway, on to the next, where Texas ended up breaking the 100 mark, ended up really easily winning winning yesterday. Final score of the game was 123 versus 51. They ended up easily taking down Incarnate Word. Here's the deal with Texas. This is a team that is looking to do better than the Final Four. Last year, remember, guys, they made it to the Final Four, and that was a big thing, big hoopla, very exciting, all that good jazz. However, this year, they are even more locked in. And I'm excited to see ultimately what Texas can do, because Rory Harmon, we all know how good of a player she is. She didn't have that great of a game yesterday, but she still kind of does her thing. Ended up with 4 points, 5 assists. We ended up seeing Madison Booker, 18 points for her. Really good game by Jordan Lee yesterday. She ended up getting the starting nod with 21 points. And my favorite player on Texas, Kyla Odeker. She was. It's not. I know it's not Odeker, but I like to say Odeker. Quita Odeker. She ended up having 17 points for Texas. All right. So from one blowout to another blowout to another blowout. We also had Maryland play yesterday. And again, don't be surprised if for the first couple weeks, don't be surprised if we basically have every single recap starting with a bunch of blowouts until conference play starts. Okay? So I'm just saying. I'm just saying. All right. Don't get upset if you're like, man, did anybody was there any competitive games? There were some competitive games. We'll get to them in just a sec. But this one is another game that was not competitive. We saw Loyola Maryland lose really badly to Maryland. Final score, Maryland 80, Loyola Maryland 26. Here's the thing. We have a very, very, very new Maryland Terrapins team, right? You got Aluchi Akanawa, who was kind of lights out from the three-point line yesterday. Ended up going 4 for 4 final score. She had 18 points in this game. She looked fantastic. We all know what Double O can do. She was fantastic last year with Duke. She is going to be asked to be even more of a scoring threat this season for Maryland. And I just like Double O. I think she's awesome. Yarden Garzon did also make her debut for Maryland yesterday. Didn't do that much, but again, it wasn't really necessary. Like, this was a game where, sure, the starters got some minutes in, but then the bench really, really did play the day, really. And easy. There's nothing you can really say about it because not the best competition. But it is what it is. But a game that was more competition. Now, here's the thing. Sometimes games are played, and when you look at the box score, you're like, oh, that was kind of a blowout. Oh, that game must have been easy. But if you watched the game, you saw how competitive it was. And I want to talk about Oklahoma versus Belmont real quick, because here's the thing. This game was actually very, very exciting, especially in the first half, because Belmont is a team that was knocking down threes left and right, specifically in that first half. Ultimately, Belmont finished the game with 10 threes. A huge chunk of those were in the first half. And that's what they were doing, right? They were knocking down threes left and right. And for Oklahoma, they were giving the ball to Reagan Beer. So Oklahoma was scoring in the post. Belmont was scoring at the 3-point line, and it was a very, very close game. And I ended up tweeting about it, and it's funny. Sometimes I'm watching a game, I'm watching, and then I finally tweet about what I notice, and then all of a sudden, right after I tweet what I'm noticing, the other team flips the script, and we get the result that we get. Because here's the thing, Belmont looked fantastic in this game until the last couple of minutes in the third quarter. Belmont had it. Belmont was knocking down 3 after 3. What they were doing is we saw a lot of doubling of Reagan Beers, and at times even more. Reagan Beers had a lot of focus on her versus Belmont, and it seemed like Belmont was basically saying, somebody else beat me. Somebody else beat me, but Reagan Beers. And Oklahoma was kind of, in a way, we're going to get to Aaliyah Chavez in a sec, but in a way, they were kind of struggling to not just find Reagan, because they got some turnovers that I was just like, come on now, you shouldn't get those turnovers. Trying to feed it down low to Reagan. And also, they were just missing shots where like there would be some like inside outside action, but then Oklahoma's guards and whatnot, they would miss shots, or Sahara Williams was missing a couple shots, and it felt like, okay, Belmont can get Oklahoma. Oklahoma might get got today, but as the third quarter kind of started to end, and we headed into the fourth quarter, Oklahoma really did just separate themselves even more, and they ended up winning the game. So, like, while you see a final score 84-67, shout out to Belmont. Okay, shout out to Belmont. This was a way closer game than I think Oklahoma probably expected. Okay, so that's a shout out to Belmont. But I got to talk about the freshie, Aaliyah Chavez, because here's the thing. I've been telling y'all, I've been waiting to see what Aaliyah Chavez can do, because yes, in high school she was fantastic, but college is different. And I gotta say, I thought Aaliyah Chavez played extremely well. Extremely well. You know, she ended up getting the starting nod, and while she was taking some shots that I was like, yeah, you got to be a little bit more patient with that. You got to be like, she was a little bit trigger happy, especially from the 3-point line. However, I do think that she kind of settled into the game. I do think defensively she played well. And I do think she did a really good job of trying to get her teammates involved. Now, again, sort of that quick trigger shot, she has to kind of slow her roll a little bit on that, okay? But I thought she played really, really good. Really, really, really good. I wanted to see how her and Reagan Beers fit together. I think they fit well. I tell you, Reagan Beers, 29 points in this one, 10 rebounds. She was doing her thing. And Aaliyah Chavez, 16 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals, 1 block. Again, defensively, she was doing her thing. Offensively, I think she just has to slow down a little bit and not chuck up so many shots. I think that's the only thing that Jenny Baranczyk has to work on her with. Yes, we know you're a shooter. We know you can score, but you gotta be a little bit slower with your shots, at times. Now, of course, at times, play fast, but you don't always have to just shoot it immediately after you get it. But Aaliyah Chavez, I'm excited. Okay? I'm excited about her. I think she She had a really good game yesterday, and Reagan Beers is Reagan Beers. Like, you know, like, oh, and you know, Belmont couldn't really stop her. Not really. Again, 29 points. Not, Belmont is not a, ranked team, but like, they're a really good team. They're a really good team. And so, this was a really good game. Okay. Road 2 says Chavez will be interesting as the season goes on, and how she will be embraced by the media. She's a shooter. She is a shooter. Yeah. But again, yes, Callie, yes. She needs to work on her shot selection, and that's okay. That is absolutely okay. You know, I expect her to get a whole lot better. Okay. Because she's already really good right now. So work on your shot selection. Then I think she's a problem. I mean, one, she's a problem right now, but like once she gets her shot selection together and is not just chucking up everything, ooh, yeah. Aaliyah Chavez is gonna be her. That's for sure. But again, this is just a game against Belmont. I want to see her play against a top 25 team, and that's really going to tell us what's going on. Okay. We also saw some more games that featured top 25 teams, including North Carolina, who took down North Carolina Central. Final score of the game was 90-42. I mean, it is what it is. North Carolina got the dub. Not a ton to talk about. But yeah. But just a quick shout out to Nyla Brooks, the freshman who came off the bench and did her thing in yesterday's game. She ended up having 15 points, leading the charge for the Tar Heels in terms of points. Hey, who knows? Really good start for her. We'll see if how her minutes can kind of continue on from here. But yeah, it's a fine game. All right, let's move on down the road. Let's talk about Ole Miss versus Norfolk State. This was another game that, to me, at times felt a whole lot closer than the final score. Now, yes, final score 87-46. And you may look at that and you may be like, man, Ole Miss totally destroyed Norfolk State. And I gotta say, yes, ultimately, but Norfolk State played pretty well, especially in that first half. I thought Norfolk State played well. I thought defensively they were trying their best and whatnot, but the floodgates kind of opened and it felt like Ole Miss kind of got in their bag in that second half even more, because it was pretty close. Well, not pretty. It was close. It was close in the first half. And in the second half, it was just like, dang. But in the first quarter, I really did think, oh, this could be a game. Oh, yeah. Ole Miss kind of was struggling in that first quarter, but then they kind of got it together. And it was like, oh, man. I wanted it to be a little bit more competitive than it was at the end of the game. But like, shout out to Ole Miss, shout out to Norfolk State. But Ole Miss got it together, and we just got our first look at like what this team actually looks like. I still want to see more from Ole Miss, but like, Coach Yo, you got a pretty deep roster. deep roster. And Cody McMahon, if your threes keep falling the way they were falling yesterday, oh my goodness, you about to end up with, if your threes can keep falling, you about to end up with some sort of SEC award. I'm telling you, Cody McMahon, mark my words, you about to get an SEC award. If your threes continue like this. Yesterday she ended up knocking down 4 threes, and I was like, dang girl. Like, it's pretty nice. It's pretty nice. But anyway. Lynette says Ole Miss looking like Ole Miss. Yeah. I'm excited to ultimately watch them do their thing this season. Okay. Row 2 says, shout out to Norfolk State University, HBCU. Norfolk State did well after losing Coach Vickers. Yep. Coach Vickers is now at Auburn, and he narrowly got the win yesterday. But yeah, they got a new coach. You know, Diamond Johnson, she left. She was done 2 seasons ago? Anyway, but was it 2 seasons? I can't remember. Time is confusing to me. Anyway, Norfolk State played their heart out. Especially and they did as much as they could, especially in that first half, specifically that first quarter. All right, let's continue on. We saw Iowa State get in the win column, taking down St. Thomas of Minnesota. Here's the thing. I love Iowa State. I think Iowa State is such a fun team. They're not as young as they used to be, right? Because, Addie Brown and Audie Crooks are older players, right? They're not the freshmen anymore. But I just love this team. I love the joy they play with. I love the heart that they play with. And yesterday, they added a new piece to the puzzle. Jada Williams, remember her from Arizona? She's now at Iowa State, and she is trying to make a name for herself. And yesterday, she did fairly well. Again, getting used to a new system, getting used to new players. We end up seeing Audie Crooks have a 20-piece in this one because Audie Crooks is Audie Crooks. She didn't actually rebound the ball as much as I thought she would, but she played well. She played really well. We ended up seeing Jada Williams end up adding in 9 points, 4 assists in this one. And, of course, Addie Brown has to get in action as well. Addie with 11 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists. 2 blocks also for Addie Brown. And Iowa State just get the win. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy in Ames, Iowa. As per usual, as you all saw in that montage, a bunch of these games that happened yesterday were during the day, which meant it was a kids' day game, i.e. camp day games in the WNBA, where it's a game during the day. People who work cannot go to the game, so instead, what you see is a bunch of kids screaming and yelling and howling in the crowd, which is fun, which is very, very fun. So if y'all were watching some of the games featuring some of the bigger teams and you were like, where are all the people? Some of that, check to see if the game was during the day. And some of that also, for some of these games, that was later in the day, I was kind of like, why isn't more people there? I was kind of like, But for the most part, these games are during the day. And so it was usually kids there or a lot of empty seats. Okay. Let's continue on. We also ended up seeing Vandy get a big time dub against Cal. And I got to say, first of all, Cal is a good school. Even though Cal is not ranked, but they're a good squad. And I got to say, I was a little bit concerned is not the right word. I was very interested, I should say. I was very, very interested in what this Vandy team looked like without Camille Pierre. Of course, we all know Michaela Blakes is amazing. We all know that. But I just wanted to see how they look. And they look good. They look good because Michaela Blakes is insane. The question is not really what can Michaela Blakes do. The question is what can't she do? She can get to the rim whenever she wants. She can knock down a three, though she was not very efficient yesterday, but like she can still knock down a three. She got a mid-range game. She can do whatever she wants on the court. She can play defense. So, yeah. Shout out to Michaela Blakes, who I thought was really good. And we also saw Mwatanda. She was from Texas. She played for Texas last year. Now she's at Vandy. I thought she played some pretty good minutes. We saw Washington play some good minutes as well. Overall, and also we saw Aaliyah Del Rosario get a couple minutes. Like she didn't really do much of anything, but you know, there's a lot of time to be had. And I got to talk about on Cal. Yes, Cal lost, but who got a double-double for Cal yesterday? Sakima Walker. Yeah, Sakima Walker did her thing yesterday. I was very happy to see it. Very, very like proud of what she was doing yesterday. Here's the thing. There are some times where players just need to move to a different school, right? And Sakima Walker, she needed to leave South Carolina because with how stacked the bigs were, she was not going to play again this year. She just wasn't. And so you may like the players, you may like the coach, you may like the environment, but if you're not going to play, leave and go somewhere else. Sakima Walker left. I thought she was going to initially go to Grand Canyon, but she ended up going to Cal. And I think Cal was a really, really good move for her. I thought it was a great move. She's going to likely be the starter for the rest of this year. Right? Also, this is someone who is going to be, in a lot of ways, a big-time contributor for this team. Not only will she start, she's going to be a contributor. Yesterday, 14 points, 11 rebounds for Sakima Walker. It was great to see. It was great to see. Because it doesn't always work out at certain programs. And to me, the best part of the transfer portal is for people like Sakima Walker, who weren't getting minutes. And it was no indication that she was going to get minutes this year. Now, did she know that Chloe Kitts was going to get hurt and whatnot, and did she know that Ashlyn Watkins for sure was going to be out? Probably about Ashlyn, but didn't know about Chloe. And so, like, maybe with some of the with the injuries that South Carolina is dealing with, maybe she would have got some minutes this year, more than last year. But you can't rely on that. So good for Sakima Walker. Sometimes you just gotta leave, and that's okay, right? Doesn't always have to be bad blood for someone to leave, and that's why the transfer portal was built in a lot of ways for people like her who were not going to get playing time, and go to Cal, be successful. I think it's great. I think that's really, really great. So shout out to Sakima Walker, okay? Shout out. All right. Continuing on, we saw the Iowa Hawkeyes end up getting a big win, including a huge performance by a new dynamic duo in women's college basketball. So yesterday, Iowa played Southern, and they won the game 86-51. But shout out to Southern though. Southern was they were trying. They were really trying. But the point of me talking about this game is I want to talk about a dynamic duo that I guarantee you all I'll be talking about constantly as this season goes on. Okay. And that is Hannah Stokey. Hannah Hidalgo plays today. Hannah Stokey played yesterday. Hannah Stokey and Ava Hayden. Hannah Stokey is one of the leaders on this team. She is a senior, which is crazy to think about. It's amazing sometimes when I really, really watch a player from freshman year and then they make it to a senior year. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, you were just a little kid. Now you're all grown up leading this team. But anyway, Hannah Stokey and Ava Hayden, who was a freshman last year, now is a sophomore. And I tell you, Ava Hayden is playing with so much more confidence, and them two together, dynamic duo. Okay? Hannah Stokey yesterday had 20 points, 9 rebounds for the Iowa Hawkeyes, and also Ava Hayden, her partner in crime, did her thing as well. 21 points for Ava, 14 rebounds for her as well. Shout out to the post players. Y'all. We did see Addie Deal play yesterday as well. She did come off the bench with 4 points. This is someone who everybody's going to be, in the offseason, literally everyone was saying, until Addie starts to play for Iowa. Wait until Addie starts to play. And I tell you, the focus of Iowa this season is the post. That's the focus. Now, yes, do the guards need to make some stuff happen? Absolutely. But the posts are the focus. Okay? The posts. The posts are the focus. Not the guards. Not the guards. Yeah, she did have a lot of turnovers. She had like 7 turnovers or something like that in yesterday's game. Again, for Iowa to be successful, the guards are not going to do it for them. It is Hannah and Ava. That's the team this year. That's the team. Quinta says deal was not a deal. Yes. Yes. But like in the offseason, literally everybody was saying, oh, Addie Deal's gonna do her thing. She's gonna be amazing. She's gonna blah 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? Not that she won't, but like I don't know. It'll take her some time. It'll take her a good amount of time. But to me, again, focus for Iowa, Ava, and Hannah. That's the focus. Should be the focus. Sai says, who's better, Iowa State or Iowa? I think Iowa State is better. Yeah, I say Iowa State. What do you all say? Iowa State significantly better. And so, yeah. Anyway. We also saw the University of Kentucky end up getting a win yesterday against They ended up getting a win yesterday against Morehead State. Final score 75-59. Nothing to really write home about, other than I think the new it player for Kentucky is Clara Strack. That's, I don't know, not really much else to say about that. All right, continuing on. Continuing on, we had wait, hold on. I didn't make a graphic for Duke? Okay. Here's the thing. Let's do this real quick. Quick recap of the Duke game. For some reason, I don't have a graphic for it, which sorry about. But we got to talk about that game because Duke is exactly who we thought they were. Sorry, I don't have a graphic for Duke. But yesterday we ended up seeing Duke lose to Baylor. Final score, Baylor 58, Duke 52. I gotta say, while, yes, Duke got. Duke should not have lost, but they did lose. Yada, yada, yada. Duke is exactly who we thought they were. Duke is a team that defensively is good, but this team still has no offense. This has been the issue with Duke for the last couple of years. For the last couple of years, this team has, again, defensively been good. They can hold teams to not a lot of points. But their offense is ugly. It looks ugly. It just does. It just does. And you lose basically your real scorer last year. Oluchi Akanua was a big-time player for Duke last year. Big-time player. Right? And now you're missing that scoring presence that she gave you. And she's lighting it up at Maryland now. And you are struggling to score. I don't think Duke played that bad defense. I don't think they did. Yes, Talia Scott was fantastic, and we're going to get to Talia Scott in just a sec. But to me, the issue for Duke is not their defense. It is their offense. They can't score. And it looks bad at times. And I just don't get it. You got Toby Fournier, who is amazing. Like I really think Toby is the real deal. But I think they have to partially adjust how Toby is playing, because Toby can score, but there are times where you're getting the ball to, like, ball placement is important, ball movement is important, and it feels like Duke, offensively they just play ugly. And Toby is the best. Toby Fournier, who was the leading scorer last year for the team coming off the bench, she is their best bet to score. Best bet. And she did overall struggle to shoot yesterday. But I chalk a good amount of that up to how she's playing on offense. I think Kara Lawson is a good coach. I do think she's a good coach. But she is not putting enough attention on the offensive end to ensure that her team is successful. You can't win all of your games by defense. Like, you just can't. You have to be able to score. Like, I don't know, man. So Duke should have won, but again, Toby needs some help. And the rest of this team on offense, they need some milk. They need some milk. Defensively, they're good, but offensively, oh my God, this team is pretty bad. Pretty bad. Anyway, let's move on to Baylor, who I would say also offensively didn't play that great, but they did play better than Duke. Okay. Hey, Ken, I was getting to it, man. I was getting to it. Anyway, Baylor didn't play the best offensive game, but they ended up grinding out a win. Okay? I got to say this. There are times where offensively your shot isn't really falling like you want it to, and you're not looking as good, but you are able to just grind out a win. And that's exactly what Baylor did yesterday. Talia Scott led the charge, of course, the transfer in to Baylor, the person who has really brought a huge bright spot for Baylor. Remember, guys, she started off at Arkansas, went to Auburn for just, a couple games? And now is with Baylor. And when I tell you Talia Scott can score, she can score. 24 points for her. Heavily led the charge for Baylor. But I do got to give a shout out to Little Paige Bugs as well. Double for her, 10 points, 10 rebounds. Again, didn't shoot well. Talia Scott didn't shoot well either. No one really shot well in this entire game. But when you need buckets, players show up. And yesterday, Baylor showed up. They had a better game plan offensively, and they were just able to grind it out. Baylor, in my opinion, should not have won, but it's about who plays better. And Baylor was the better team, hands down, 100% better team. And it felt like Baylor was more in control of this game, and Duke was on the back foot. Right? And the craziest part was, even though Baylor seemed more in control, Baylor was turning over the ball left and right. Baylor kept turning over the ball. Almost 20 turnovers in yesterday's game. And Duke wasn't really capitalizing. Right? A team turns the ball over almost 20 times and you barely score off of it. You don't even make it like it's really, they should have got cooked for that. But Duke can't really score. And so you don't make much of it. So Duke, you got to be better. Okay? Got to be better. But shout out to Baylor. Okay? Shout out to Baylor. Anyway, let's get to the other games, including Idaho, who took down Washington State. Guys, this was a huge game. Huge game. Okay? Because first of all, Idaho, I am a fan of Idaho. Was it last year? Either last year or 2 years ago. I can't remember because time is whatever. But anyway, Idaho came to Chicago to play Chicago State. And me and Mom went to the game. And I really liked Idaho. I was like, I like this team. And so since then, I have been following Idaho and just watching their games because I just think they're a fun team. I just do. I think they are a fun team, and eventually they're going to be exceptionally good. Yesterday, they did give an upset win against Washington State. Final score 87-85. In this game yesterday, we ended up seeing the Vandals for the first time in forever take down Washington State. Kyra Gardner really led the charge for the Vandals. She ended up having 26 points in yesterday's game. So shout out to Idaho for barely taking down Washington State. But a win's a win. A win's a win, guys. A win's a win. Yesterday, we also saw Holy Cross take down Boston College yesterday. That was a game that, again, nail biter of a game. But shout out to Holy Cross for getting the upset victory No one's really checking for Holy Cross when it comes to women's basketball, but like, and no one's really checking for Boston College either. But Boston College is supposed to be way better than Holy Cross, but I guess not. Anyway, I am out of time. There was some more games I wanted to talk about, but I guess it is what it is. Because when you have 147 games, you can't really talk about them all. But anyway, that's it. Thank y'all so much for watching. If y'all let me know the favorite game, y'all favorite game of yesterday. Let me know what you're looking forward to watching today. Real quick, let's just talk about the games that are happening later today. We do have some top 25 teams that will be kicking off pretty soon. We do have Tennessee versus NC State. That game is happening at 4 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN2. We also have at 5:30 p.m. we have on ESPN and that's Eastern Time. We have Louisville versus UConn. So those are the two games that I will definitely be watching. Louisville versus UConn, Tennessee versus NC State. We also have Michigan State playing against Mercyhurst today. That game is happening at 6:30. We got LSU taking on Houston Christian. And for some reason, every time I look at the Houston Christian logo, it reminds me of UConn. Like, anybody else see some similarities between UConn and Houston Christian? I'm just saying. Anyway, that game is happening at 8 p.m. We got USC versus New Mexico State as well. And so, yeah, lots of games to watch. So hopefully y'all are going to watch those. And I'll talk to y'all tomorrow about them. We'll kind of do a similar thing where we're going to do a montage and do a recap of all the stuff that you all may have missed today. Anyway, I will see y'all in the next one. Oh, I got to go to work. All right, let me find my exit. See y'all next one. Till next time, guys. Bye.
Are you ready?
Ready, set, go.